This is downtown Jada Brown, and we're here at San Diego to free Isa, free all of her charges that she's facing from protesting. Protesting is not a crime. We're gonna free our girl Isa so she can be in here in community with her friends and her family. Protesting is not a crime. There's no ice in my water.
This person has always been on these streets doing the right thing, fighting the good fight. And so George Floyd Square is home to Isa.
I wouldn't have done any different, right, if I could have. And that is where we're gonna go. You know, we should be meeting ICE and like federal forces occupying our neighborhoods exactly how we did on June 3rd. And this is a massive battle because whatever happens with this case will happen again and again and again, and it'll get worse and worse for us to the point where handing a flyer out was what? How many years? This is how fascism works.
And so for me, like, what keeps me going is knowing that, like, even if, like, I feel like I can't complete this, like, that's not what it's about. It's about the fact that, like, if I just do this today and then the next day and then the next day, then, like, soon enough, like, I'll have a complete peace, if that makes sense. And, like, really enjoying the journey, you know. And again, I think coming from a community where it's like constant scarcity, we forget about the fact that, like, it's not just about, like, doing it to finish it, but it's about, like, who you become in that process. And so for me, it's been like, how do I bring the community with me through this?
And the una más means everyone, right? An injury to one is an injury to all, also means that when we stand up for one, we're standing up for all.
I try to be on time, but punctuality is something I have yet to understand completely, but I want to be respectful of your time, and I don't want to keep you waiting, because your time is so divine. I mean, your time is so precious, so is mine. Shall I rewind? I could remove all of the hiccups in my life, would it be mine? If I had a time machine, I could erase all of my flaws, but then I wouldn't be a person, because people are not perfect. But you are so.
When we defend our own, it's not to convince the state, no, we weren't doing anything. Is to declare that actually resistance is a good thing. In our universe, it's not criminal. In our universe, it's actually model behavior. But also we have to pay a lot of attention when we talk a lot about strategies for movements, how we, put the enemy in a bad position where they can't maneuver, blah, blah, blah. We also have to pay a lot of attention to tactics. Tactics are really useful, and we choose tactics based on the needs of the moment and to make sure it aligns with our long-term goals.
Maybe 2 weeks ago now, we got our first plea offer from the prosecutor. Her plea offer was that Isa pleads to one of the 4 counts and then agrees that the sentencing guidelines in federal court are this formula that they calculate based on the seriousness of the offense and someone's criminal history to determine what the advisory guidelines are that someone would spend in prison, and the judge has the discretion to go above or below the guidelines or within the guidelines. But their plea was for her to accept these sentencing guidelines of 8 to 14 months in prison. And I said, well, that's ridiculous for her to. I mean, for the prosecutor, it probably sounded like a good deal because these federal laws are really, really harsh, and it's unbelievable the amounts of time that people get sent to prison for various stuff. But, obviously 8 to 14 months in prison for such a trivial incident is, common sense wise, does anyone think it's not absurd? Their threat is you accept like about a year in prison, or else we're going to try and put you in prison for 4 to 5 years.